Hello, my name's Elaine Flint. I'm the Voscur rep to the Prosperous and Ambitious Board, a sub-board of Bristol Partnership. And this is my report of the meeting that took place at the BBC on the 17th of June. The meeting was not tremendously well attended, probably about as many apologies, if not more, than there were people in attendance, and of those really that weren't officers, very, very few of us. There was, for the first time, there was a attendance by a councillor who is an executive lead at that meeting. So John Rogers, who's the exec lead for transport and sustainability, was present. And also Kate Davenport, who's the new Bristol City Council head of Economic Regen, I believe is her role. It's probably got a different name now. She was also present, which was useful. So just a few key things that came up at the meeting, which I can report on. I've certainly raised a question around the urban enterprise funding, which is some European funding, and I was unhappy about the governance arrangements that were being proposed. In effect, we were being asked to delegate the governance of this substantial programme. It's worth about £18 million over a number of years for enterprise development in Bristol, and really we're being asked to delegate that to one volunteer on a commissioning group without seeing an implementation plan, which I didn't feel was appropriate at all. And that had quite a lengthy discussion, and it was agreed that the full implementation plan will come to the July meeting, which is really what the step which needed to be in place. And that was quite a long discussion, I'm afraid, but it was useful. There was also a discussion about the name. I think a lot of us feel quite uncomfortable with the Prosperous and Ambitious Board, and that has never really been resolved. And there is a very diverse range of people around that and interests around the table there, from sustainability to transport to housing and planning and development to the economy, and the whole issue of growth versus sustainability and how you have sustainable growth is an important discussion to be had. And it's been decided that there will be a facilitated discussion at the September meeting on the vision really for the board, and I certainly hope that will re-engage with a number of the people who seem to have disappeared over the last couple of meetings, because I think that has been a real loss to the sort of the breadth of the discussions. Then a couple of other things. We did see a paper on the LAA performance targets, and really for this board is concentrating on issues such as job seekers numbers, and clearly they're under huge pressure with the recession, and are in the red in the traffic light system. So detailed look at that was deferred to a performance subgroup who's going to really look at those targets and bring any recommendations to the main board where there are sort of clear issues that are emerging. We also had two other interesting reports, one from Destination Bristol looking at the importance of tourism to Bristol, and Bristol is now fourth in England as a tourism destination, which is quite extraordinary. So behind London, Birmingham and Manchester, and we've evidently we've leapt higher than Leeds. So that's who we were behind before. And visitor numbers are holding up very well, and obviously that's very important to the economy of Bristol, and that's a very positive sign in the recession. We then had a short presentation by Stephen Ray, who's leading on the Bristol bidding to be a host city in the England bid for the World Cup, Football World Cup in either 2018 or 2022, which again it feeds very much into the issue about sort of tourism and destination, but also there was an interesting discussion about how that could be a useful focus for sort of community cohesion, recognising the huge vast range of diversity of people living in Bristol. We have a World Cup practically in a number of our primary schools, with the nationalities that there are within the city. The controversial thing there, I think, is the issue around the planning for the Ashton Gate Stadium. That bid for Bristol to be involved will be very dependent on there being a brand new, smart, big stadium that replaces Ashton Gate, and the Ashton Gate planning is currently under consideration, and there's a potential possible role around Tesco on that site, which I think is very controversial. So, you know, it may be that if that site, if a new stadium doesn't go ahead, actually Bristol wouldn't be in a position to bid. But you know, that's not as important as the long term, and whether there's Tesco on the Ashton Gate site, really, I think. So those were the key things, and we're meeting again on the 23rd of July, this time at the zoo. So we get around as a little travelling board.